Great morning, great morning, great morning. You guys come on in, come on in. Great morning. Hmm. My God, my God. You guys come on in, come on in. Come on in, come on in. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. There is a word from the Lord. Come on in, come on in. God is so amazing, so incredible, so awe-inspiring, beyond words, beyond comprehension of our human minds. God is incredible. His thoughts are not our thoughts. Our thoughts are not his thoughts. His ways are not our ways, and our ways are not his ways. Hey, sissy, how are you? Hey, Andrea from Philly. We got the Philly crew in the building. Listen, you guys. Hey, Lori. Yes, Hillsborough County in the building. Come on through. Come on through. You all, this word, this word, this word. My God, my God. You know, a lot of times we think that what God is doing in our lives is impossible. What he's shown us is impossible. The passion he's given us, it's going to be impossible to manifest that fully. We look at the monumental nature of the task handed to us by an almighty God, and we say, God, I can't do this. We're good at saying what we can't do. Hey, Jackie, Alabama in the building. But I just came to tell you that your mission, that thing that God has deposited within you to do, your purpose, is only impossible without God. It's only impossible when God is not in the equation. It's only impossible. My God, I hear you, Lord. It's only impossible when he's not included in the calculations. You know, when you play the game of Uno, now I don't know why I'm using this example, but this is the example that dropped in my spirit. When you play the game of Uno, the goal is to get rid of your last card. That the goal is to get rid of the last card first, to be the first one to get rid of the last card. And sometimes you get a hand and that hand looks like, oh, it's impossible for me to win this hand. Maybe you have all of one particular suit, which means that, or color, right? Which means that you feel like you're not going to have enough opportunities to play that color, and you're going to end up drawing because you need different colors because people have different colors. But there are some cards that produce magic when they show up in your hand. You can have a hand full of one particular color and have a draw four, have a reverse, have a draw two, have some cards that shift the way everything is happening. Literally, you can put down your draw four and change the color to what you need it to be. Someone puts down a draw four and they think that they've just done the greatest thing in the world, and you lay your draw four down and change the color back to whatever you need it to be. You see, it's like in the game of spades. In the game of spades, when you have the big joker, the little joker, the ace, the king, and maybe you have some lower spades. You know that that hand you can run it. You can run that, but it requires you to do something bold. See, you can have all of that and not play that hand right and only get 5 books. Or you can play bold and come out the gate drawing the spades out. And then you can run it. Boom, 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 boom. Because there's only a limited number of spades that people can have. Yeah, a net strategy, right? Hey, Eileen. Yes, swap hands, sis. Hey, Stacy, New York in the building. So, what am I saying and why am I talking about this? Well, I'm talking about this because what I'm telling you is you're looking at the mission that God has given you, and you are saying the mission is impossible. Well, you've watched the Mission Impossible series. You've seen Tom Cruise make it out of what seemed like impossible situations. It seems as though the mission is impossible, but suddenly something happens that allows the mission to be completed. You see, when we look at it and we think that it's impossible, we've got to understand that impossible is simply, I'm possible. I'm possible. God is the possible that exists within any situation, within any context, within anything that we're doing. Now, if we decide that we're going to do it on our own, if we decide that we are going to make it happen, the mission will always be impossible. Why? Because God is not included and He's what makes it possible. He is our possible. He's our um he's our ace in the hole. He's our ram in the bush. He's the one that is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we can think or ask. He is the key. And when we try to do it without him, we're frustrated, we're aggravated, we're overwhelmed. We feel like we're never going to get to the place of destiny. But it's because we're doing it in our strength and not allowing possibility, the one that makes it possible, the one that gives us the strength, the one that gives us the strategy, the one that gives us the endurance, the one that gives us the persistence, the one that gives us the attitude necessary to have success. We got him on the outside looking in. I hear you, God. When we finally come to the end of us, when we finally come to the end of us, and we stop thinking that we can do it without the one who created us, then all things become possible. See, there's some things that God wants to do that we in our logical mind can't even conceive of because it is illogical. It does not make sense. So if you sit down and you try to explain it to someone, they're not going to get it. They're not going to understand it. They're going to be like, no, you can't do that. That's not possible. You know, you can't do that. That's crazy. You can't do that. That doesn't make sense. You can't do that. Who does that, right? But it's what he said do. And then you have to make this decision. Do I do what other people think is impossible? Or do I trust in the God of the possible, the God of all possibilities, the God that makes it happen? What do I do? When we get to the end of us, that's right, Annette, is where we can find him. And when we find him and we hear him and we do what he says, and we trust his plan, his timing, his everything, it changes the game. Monica said, I'm doing the impossible with the possible God. He's the one that makes it possible. He's the one that creates a way out of no way. It's him. It's not you. It's not your brilliance. It's not your beauty. It's not your talent. It's not your strategy. It's not you. It's him. I love how he speaks to me. He speaks to me using things that a lot of times people say, oh, you're wasting time when you do this, right? He speaks to me through movies and television shows and music and that are going on in the world. That's how he speaks to me, but especially through movies and television. He'll take something that looks like it has nothing to do with God and show me everything that has everything to do with the message that he's trying to get to me. That clarifies something, that gives me another view of something, that shows me something in a different way. He does it because he knows that ultimately, at the end of the day, there's a plan that he has for my life that I need to see this in order to understand. And that said, it truly takes faith to trust what you don't see. Knowing him and having a relationship allows you to hear and see. Yes, sissy. I know that to be true because when I sing, it's because he made it possible. My sister sings and she doesn't have both of her lungs at full capacity. In fact, the capacity that she has, she should not be able to sing at all. She shouldn't be able to sing, but she's able to sing because God makes it possible. So what looked impossible, what seemed impossible, is made possible with the God of all possibility. It's in him. It's in him that it's made possible. It's not in her strength. It's not in her ability. It's in him. And so because she did what looked impossible with the possible God, she was able to produce a song that God deposited in her that allows her to move forward, to do the things that he had ordained for her to do, because he is the God of possibility. So now she has a song that's trending. Now she has a song that has opened doors for her. So now she has a seat at the Stellars. So now she has the opportunity that she would not have had had she not believed and trusted in God's ability to do what was impossible in her own strength through her. He needed her participation, her cooperation, her willingness to submit her will to his will. Yes, Monica. Right, Annette, but God. Listen, y'all are going to get this one day. And when you get it, I pray it's not too late for God to do the things that he desires to do that looks impossible to the world, but let the world know there is a God of possibilities. You see, you want to do it in your strength, with your money, with your talent, with your education. No, no, no. God don't work like that. God is a God of impossibilities because the impossibilities point people back to him. Because otherwise it would have been impossible. This morning, I woke up early this morning. Okay, I woke up early this morning. I planned to get on the road early, but I didn't. It's like all of us just got tired. Like I wasn't tired. I was awake. I was alert. And then all of a sudden I just got tired. And I said, well, I'm just going to lay down and I'm just going to, just rest for a little while before I get on the road. But I'm going to get up and I'm going to get on the road in about an hour. And I started a show called The Man Who Fell to Earth. And I'm watching it, and it's all about this man that falls to earth and how he has to learn how to operate in this world, right? And there's a scene. This is why I love God. This is why I love God. There's a scene where they're trying to do something with the company. They're trying to create and do something that has been scientifically impossible up until it was no longer possible. And listen, her father says to her, listen, science is error until it's not. Listen, he said to her, science is error until it's not. I said, wait, what did he just say? He said, science is error until it's not. It's not getting it right till you got it right. We're so conditioned to focus on always getting it right that we beat ourselves up when it doesn't turn out the way that we think it's supposed to turn out. And so now we've created a system in life, a condition in life where we think that life is success until you hit failure, instead of understanding that the errors of life are a part of what life is. There is error until it's not. There's error until it's not, until you get it right. So for me, I'm looking at my life and I'm saying, okay, wow, God. And it goes on. There's a scene where she should not be included. She performed an experiment and someone died in the experiment. But in the experiment, she achieved the thing scientifically that they thought was impossible and was able to sustain it for a second. Do you know that when you achieve something for 1 second, it is still achieved? So they were saying, because someone died in the process of her achieving it, that she was irresponsible and she was a zealot and all of these things. And the man is talking to her. First, they're saying she can't be in the project. She can't be in the project because she killed somebody. She killed somebody achieving what was impossible to achieve. She killed somebody while she was accomplishing what had never been accomplished. She killed somebody when she did what was necessary to create what was necessary for what was scientifically deemed impossible to become possible. Somebody died in the process of that. Now listen to me, and I want you to hear me. In their eyes, she killed him. In their eyes, she killed him. But what I'm going to tell you is, sometimes when you're on your way to destiny, to do what is and seems impossible by the world's standard, someone may die along the way. It's not your fault. No, it is not your fault if someone dies while you're on your way to your destiny to achieve what God said is impossible. And do not make them call you a murderer. Don't let them call you a murderer. Don't let them call you a zealot. Don't let them call you irresponsible. Your responsibility is to the mission that God is giving you for your life. And in that moment, it was three of them. Notice the number three. 333. It's significant. There were three of them. And the other person said, we'll do it. But she can't be a part of it. Y'all never encountered that. When God gave you a vision, allowed you to do something, and somebody said you can't be a part because you're not qualified, because you did something that disqualifies you. Listen, she said, we can make the deal, but we can only make the deal if you exclude her. Yes, Stacy. Hey, Annette. Yes, Lord, it's error till it's not failure until we succeed. Come on now. Now listen. The man began to ask her questions. He said, is this true? She said, yeah. You achieved total fusion? Yeah. Someone died? She said, yeah. He said, We only do it if she goes with us. We can only do it, her included. Now, listen, I don't know who else this is for, but I know it's for me. He said, we will only accept the deal if she's included. She's a necessary part of what we're doing. The one's like, what? Why would you do that? That's a testament to your irresponsibility. That's a testament to your lack of judgment. He said, no, it's a testament to your lack of judgment. Because when you understand that in order for you to do what looks like it's impossible, sometimes you got to take a risk. And you got to bet on someone that the world says is not qualified, that the world says is not deserving, that the world says is too radical, that the world says is a zealot, that the world says is crazy, someone that other people won't connect to, someone that other people won't use, someone that other people excluded, threw away. See, the world threw her away, but they didn't recognize her genius so much so that she began to question her very own genius. See, the world is designed to cause you to question the genius that is within you, the mission that God has given you, the purpose that God has deposited in you. The world is designed to take your confidence away. So when you've done something great, their goal is to make it look like something horrible. She did something amazing, and yes, it cost someone their life. But do you not know that it only cost one person their life? Let's talk about some major world successes that cost many people their lives. Let's talk about that. When you understand that with advancement, there's sacrifice. Did y'all hear what I said? With advancement, there's sacrifice. There are relationships that won't go through. There are things that won't happen unless there is sacrifice. So when you say, I want destiny, but I'm not willing to sacrifice anything, you'll never have the thing that you're designed to have, to do the things that you're designed to do. I don't know what's going on with that, but listen, I bind that because it's designed to be a distraction. What I'm telling you is this: what God has for you to do, what God has for you to do is going to require sacrifice. Let me see, y'all. Hold on. I may have to move. May have to move. So y'all bear with me for a minute because y'all need to hear the end of this. So hold on. Okay, hopefully it's better. Hopefully it's better. Okay. Can y'all hear me better? Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me better. Let me know if you can hear me better. Now, what's the lesson in that? Y'all can get it in a minute. What's the lesson in that? Huh? Y'all know it's going to be a way. What once worked when you were still requires movement. when you were still requires movement. It requires you to move. And I'm here to tell y'all, listen, y'all been sitting still for long enough. You've done all that you can do still and stagnant and in a certain place. Now it's time to move. Will you run the risk of a disconnection to move? Will you run the risk of losing people to move? Will you do what's necessary to get to destiny? Will you? Will you? I hope that I've been able to be an example in my life, in my moving, in this journey. When it's time to move, ignite the ignition of the driveway and drive and move. You have been going in reverse, but you've been going in reverse, looking in your rearview mirror. Sometimes you gotta reverse just so that you can go forward. Sometimes you gotta take a chance on you. You've gotta be on you. You've gotta move. Run the risk of losing some people. Run the risk of people not understanding you. Run the risk of it being the last time that you get to encounter certain people. But you gotta do what you gotta do in order to get to where God is taking you. Because where God is taking you is necessary. And I need you to understand that what are you doing? You know, you know I'm doing what I do. See y'all. Everything's amazing. Everything's amazing. Where's the studio? Okay. Are y'all there this morning? Okay. Okay. Well, I'm leaving today, but I want to swing by. I want to see the space. Yes, I'm gonna try to get you this morning when I'm out, when I'm going out. Okay. All right. Be blessed. Okay. Y'all gonna get this in a minute. Y'all gonna get this in a minute. Okay. So the signal, the signal got choppy, so that I had to move, and came to Wawa. I gotta move. Let me move and go get some coffee. I came to Wawa. I'm sitting here doing what I'm doing, and at that moment, out comes a friend of mine that is a playwright, a producer. Like they have a studio here in Tampa, and his wife leaving at the exact moment that I pull up. They come out, hear me, see me. We speak. Y'all heard the conversation, or maybe you didn't hear the conversation. But let me say this. He said, you need to come out of the studio. You need to come out of the studio. Listen to me. I have not been willing to take the risk of disconnecting and y'all leaving, y'all dropping off, to move, to get a better reception. What I was moving to get a better reception. Don't move me to have me be here when they came out so that I could see them, so that I could speak. Now, I could have not spoken. I could have just been like, oh, I'm doing this. Let me not speak. But I know I hadn't seen them, right? So, and this is what I was going to say. I was getting ready to say, sometimes God moves you so that you can be in a place because there are people waiting for you at the place where He's sending you. When all of this transpires, I need you to listen to God. Listen to God. I don't know what this is about. I don't know what this is about. But this, I love God. Listen, but this is what's nice. They do movies. I told somebody, I think it was yesterday. I told somebody yesterday, either yesterday or was the day before yesterday. I told them that I'm getting ready to do movies and TV. I'm getting ready to do movies and television. I'm getting ready to do movies and television. Y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all something. God will send confirmations of the word that He has spoken in your life. I'm supposed to be on the big screen. I know I've always known I'm supposed to be. You see how God confirmation? I'm going to be doing movies and television. I'm gonna be on the big screen. I'm gonna be on TV. Move to get better reception from the people God has for you. My God, that's a word, and that's a word, y'all. Listen. Believe me, not believe me. Listen, don't listen. Judge me, don't judge me. Do whatever you want to. Look at that, what you told me to. Y'all, what God said. This is what God told me. God told me that. And people will look at you and say, oh, you're 55, you too. Oh, no, I'm just right. I'm just right. There are things and roles and films and stuff that God has set up specifically for me to place me in them. I literally was talking to a guy who's an actor. His first movie, April. Yeah, tip of the iceberg. His first movie was the movie about Betsy Smith with Queen Latifah and Monique. That was his first acting gig. He didn't get it through a rep. He didn't have representation or anything. He just got. You understand what I'm telling you? You understand that it looks like it's impossible, and it only is impossible when you don't include God. When you include God, everything is possible. Everything is possible. And then I'm gonna share this one last thing. This one last thing that was said in this movie, and it summarizes what I said about marriage and purpose. Right? The woman, after the man said, "We're only doing it with her," and they closed the deal. They're walking, and he's talking to her, and she's talking about the man who died, who was her boyfriend. She ended up pregnant, had a baby by him. So something beautiful came from his sacrifice. The man tells her, says, you know, it cost him his life. She said, your perspective is skewed. He said, your perspective is skewed. You're focusing on the fact that someone died. But the reality is you were successful in achieving fusion. You achieved fusion, and only one person died. You were successful in achieving fusion, and only one person died. You know how many people have died in the pursuit of the advancement of science? And in order for her to do this, it only cost her one life, but the life was someone that was very important. So her perspective was skewed. And yes, she wanted to stop doing it because she lost someone that she loved. But can I tell you this? Your mission is your mission for a reason. And your mission is only impossible without God. Then I'm going to take it a step further. Because this brother told her, she said, why did you fight for me? He said, do you remember what I told you when we first met? I told you that your mission is my mission. Baby, that thing right there hit me in the depths of my spirit. And I said, I'm looking for a man We can look at each other and say, your mission is my mission. Let's do this thing together. Your mission is my mission. When you can find somebody whose mission is your mission, y'all think that what I said? When your purpose aligns, a purpose partner, a mission mate. Come on now. This is my purpose partner, my mission mate. Come on. He came all the way from where he was to earth to do her mission. Yes. Come on, somebody. Listen. Hey, I don't know how God speaks to nobody else, but I take every way he speaks to me. Because I promise you, there's always a lesson in it. And in that lesson is a blessing. And I pray that someone was blessed by what I've just shared. Somebody's been blessed for what's just transpired. Because everything that happens in our life is an opportunity for us to get a message and share that message with someone else. I'm determined to experience everything that God has for me to experience, to do everything that God has called for me to do, and to walk in that thing with the confidence and the knowing that God doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't make errors. Everything he does with intentionality. It is intentional. My delay was intentional. If when I said I was going to leave, I wouldn't have been doing the broadcast when I was doing the broadcast. I wouldn't have moved when I had to move. I wouldn't have been at Wawa when I was at Wawa. And there's some things and some interactions that would not have happened. But God is our what? Ram in the bush. God is our possible in the midst of what looks impossible. God is our answer to the question, our solution to the problem. It is him, and he will orchestrate things in your life. Like, I don't always understand exactly what I've got to do. I don't know exactly what I got to do. Come on, let's do this thing together. The mission is the same. Come on now. Come on. I don't know why I have this overwhelming urge to move to Columbia, South Carolina, but I know God's got something in Columbia, South Carolina for me. You understand? There's something I'm supposed to do there. There are things that are supposed to transpire there. And I got to be willing to be in the right place at the right time with the right people. I don't know why I got to get there today. But I know I got to get there today. And the timing is going to be perfect. The timing is going to be immaculate because God has already ordered my steps. He's already orchestrated the plan for my life. He knows the plans that he has for me, and they're plans for me to prosper. Come on now. They're not to destroy me, but they're plans for me to prosper. They're plans for me to walk out my destiny. That's God's plan for me, and I don't care how many times I've been married. Yeah, I've been married 5 times, but God got a plan for me. Do you understand? And every one of those marriages was a part of the plan. I need y'all to understand that you can't mess this up as long as you just keep going. You just keep going. I promise you, God knows every step that you're going to take. He knows every place you're going to place your feet. He knows every decision that you're ever going to make. God knows it already. So you sitting there looking at your life, whining and groaning and complaining. Well, I didn't do this and I should have done this. You're regretting. You're living your life in regret. You're living your life in the past so you can get to your destiny. You cannot get to your destiny living in the past. You submit, how do I know when I'm living in the past? I know when I'm living in the past, when the things of the past have such a lock on me that my emotions arise every time I think about it. Every time I think about it, it's like I'm right back in that place. I'm living in the past. You're giving the past rent-free space. You're giving people rent-free space in your mind. Come out of your past so that you can go into the marvelous life. I promise you it's marvelous. It's marvelous. It's marvelous. There's more that God has for you. There's more. There's more. He's just waiting on you to move forward. And he knows exactly when you're going to move forward. It's not going to be a surprise. Oh, she finally moved forward. No, he knows when. He knows. And he's sending people into your life to push you and propel you. But what do? When people come in our lives to push us and propel us, we often push them away because we don't want to be bothered. And that's it. Right time, right place with the right people. And that's the definition of reception for me. Yes. Yes. Yes, Monica. Yes. I hear you, Lord, in this word. Get up, get up, get up, and move. Y'all, thank you, God. I'm showing up now. Look at God. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something. You can't mess it up. So what would you do if there was no chance that you could mess it up? What would you do if there was no chance you could really fail? What would you do if money and who you know were no obstacle? But the God that we serve makes it. The God that we serve is who makes it. He's the answer. He's the solution. He's waiting on some people who will be radical enough to believe him and do what looks impossible to the world. And it starts with a single decision, a single word. It's all up. Yes, yes, yes. That's it. Yes, that's all that's required is a yes. Yesterday, I announced that I'm doing a mentoring group for young women. I think I said 17 or 18, 26, called Pressure Personified for $20 a month. It's a subscription. If you have a young woman, if you are a young woman and you want to be a part of it, this is not church. This is not just about church. It's not just about God, but everything is about God. It's about life. It's about purpose. It's about destiny, right? I don't want y'all to think it's going to be super religious. It's not, right? So if you have someone, a young woman who's looking for someone to mentor them, who's going to be real with them, who can have those difficult conversations with them, that will be able to hear what they say and where they are, no matter where it is, okay? You want to encourage them to be a part of this. If you have someone and you need a link for Pressure Personified for young women, let me know. But it was birthed because two young women said, will you mentor me? Will you mentor me? Will you mentor me? Will you please mentor me? Now listen, there are the people that you want to mentor, but there are the people who want you to mentor them, and they move differently. You understand? The people that you want to mentor may not want to be mentored, but the people who want you to mentor them are ready for what it is that you have. Amen, Stacy. You give great lifestyle lessons. You help Jada and Delisa. Those my girls. Those my girls, y'all. But because they pursued me. It required me to move and do something that I had not planned to do right now, right? But they also did this. They reminded me that there are some women that may not know exactly how to move, or they just need this extra push, right? Now, listen, there are lots of people who do lots of things, right? Lots of mentoring groups, lots of mentoring programs, and all of that. But listen, Dr. V is pressure. Just when I show up, I'm pressured. And sometimes you need someone that's pressure, but pressure in a different kind of way. Pressure that's not a church pressure. Pressure that's just a life pressure. Pressure for you to become the best you that you can be. And you may be a woman who's been looking for a tribe, a group of women that they could connect with, a group of women who normally don't do women, a group of women who don't do mess, a group of women who don't do drama, a group of women who are committed to moving forward at all costs, a group of women who are ready to come on one accord and build one another up and uplift one another and not compete with one another. Because sometimes I'm not about competition. We can do the exact same thing, do the exact same thing, offer the exact same thing, and I don't feel pressed by you. Like your presence is a pressure to me, right? Because I know that the way I do it is the way I do it, and the way I do it, nobody else in this world does it just like me. Nobody else in this world can be a Dr. B. Although I don't know, because one of these young ladies is so much my darn twin. I'm like, girl, did you find? Because girl, you just like me. Like, and when you see us together, you'll see it. Mannerisms are from. I just know this. I know that God has a charge on me in this season to create a pressurized environment for people to be able to move forward who've been stagnant. Now, if you're a woman 27 and up who wants to be a part of something like this, we're going to meet twice a month. Twice a month is $20 a month. $20 a month. You can pay for the whole year, okay? It'll be $200 for the year if you pay for the whole year. You get 2 months free. But it's $20 a month for us to come together and do this thing called life and really get more of what you're getting here, but in a more systematic way. And we're going to do some live events. You'll get discounts on your live events. If you're interested interested in Pressure Personified, put Pressure Personified in the group, Pressure Personified in the group, and I'll send you the link for you to subscribe. It is a monthly subscription. It automatically comes out. I need y'all to know that up front, right? Or you can pay for the entire year. It'll be $200 for the entire year. You get free when you pay for the year, okay? So listen, let me know if you want to be a part of Pressure Personified, if you have a young woman that wants to be a part of Pressure Personified, or you want to sponsor a young woman to be a part of Pressure Personified, you can do that also. The same thing applies with the young women, $20 a month, or you can pay for the entire year and get the whole year for $200. Y'all, all I know is this. I refuse to not move when God says move. And these young women pushed me to move and do something that I needed to do. Look, I'm getting off here. Last but not least, if you want to sow a seed, you can go to Cash App $DRV Walters, Cash App $DRV Walters, or PayPal.me/DRV Walters. Now listen, let me give y'all some good news. If you decide you want to do Pressure Personified, if you decide you want to do Pressure Personified and you want to purchase for the entire year, okay? You can use Afterpay and do it in 4 payments, okay? They pay everything. You're able to do it in 4 payments. If you've ever used Afterpay, you know the power that it is. You can go ahead and pay for the year, honey, 4 payments using Afterpay. Come on. Lori said, President, I have a young woman I would like to refer to you for mentoring. I need to link her. I mentor also. She's my cousin, and I feel I'm too close. And that is absolutely the truth, Lori. I'm telling you, your family, it's hard for you to get through to them. Pass them to somebody you can trust. Pass them to somebody you can trust. But we do have Afterpay. You can do it in 4 payments through Afterpay. You can purchase for the year for $200 and pay, what's that, $50? Yeah, $50 a month. I mean, $50, I think it's every 2 weeks. I think that's what it is, every 2 weeks. $50 every 2 weeks, and you still get the discount. Bam, look at God, Afterpay. Come on, y'all. I've been waiting for that one right there. Come through, somebody. So look, you guys, know this. Know that I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Listen, let's change this world. Let's change this world. And you can do it literally one step at a time, one decision at a time, and it starts with a yes. I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an absolutely amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed. Mwah.